dive into the complex world of Middle East geopolitics, a melting pot of power dynamics, conflicts, and alliances. The Middle East, a term coined in the early 20th century, stretches from the eastern Mediterranean to the borders of India and China. This region is a unique blend of diverse cultures, religions, and languages, making it a fascinating study in geopolitics. The Middle East is not just about oil and war, it's about the interplay of historical legacies, religious beliefs, cultural identities, and political ideologies. It's about ancient civilizations and modern nation-states. It's about the struggle for power, the quest for peace, and the yearning for dignity and justice. Geopolitics in the Middle East is a complex dance on a global stage, where local issues have international repercussions. The region is a significant focal point in global politics, largely due to its strategic location, natural resources, and religious significance. Fasten your seatbelts as we journey through the labyrinth of Middle East geopolitics. The modern Middle East didn't just pop into existence, it's a product of historical events. A whirlwind of intriguing tales and historical landmarks, the birth of the modern Middle East is a saga of influential colonial powers and consequential agreements. The landscape of the Middle East as we know it today was largely shaped by the maneuvers of two colonial powers, Britain and France, during the early 20th century. Their influence was most notably felt through the Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916. This secret pact, named after its British and French negotiators, Sir Mark Sykes and François-Georges Picot, carved up the Ottoman Empire's vast territories into spheres of influence for Britain and France. This arbitrary division, often with little regard for local ethnic, religious, or tribal affiliations, set the stage for many of the region's future conflicts. Another significant milestone was the Balfour Declaration of 1917. This was a letter from Britain's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Lord Rothschild, a leader of the British Jewish community, expressing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This declaration would eventually pave the way for the creation of the State of Israel, a development that has significantly influenced Middle East geopolitics. Let's not forget the impact of the two world wars on this region. The aftermath of World War I saw the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, leading to a power vacuum that Britain and France were only too eager to fill. World War II, on the other hand, marked the beginning of the end of European colonial rule, as the war-weary powers lacked the resources to maintain their overseas empires. This created an opportunity for both local and external powers to influence the region, leading to a complex and often volatile geopolitical landscape. This is just a glimpse into the rich tapestry of events that gave birth to the modern Middle East. Such a complex history forms the backdrop against which the region's present-day politics and conflicts play out. The birth of the modern Middle East sets the stage for a complex geopolitical landscape. The Cold War casts a long shadow over the Middle East. In the wake of World War II, two superpowers emerged, the United States and the Soviet Union. Their ideological clash, capitalism versus communism, set the stage for the Cold War, a conflict that was to shape the world for the next 40 years. The Middle East, rich in oil and strategically located, became a chessboard for these powerhouses. The Arab-Israeli conflict, the Iranian Revolution, and the Afghan War were some of the key events that were influenced by this superpower rivalry. The Arab-Israeli conflict was a significant flashpoint. The US, viewing Israel as a democratic ally in a region rife with autocratic regimes, provided military and economic support. The USSR, on the other hand, backed Arab nations such as Syria and Egypt, hoping to spread socialism and gain a foothold in the region. Then, let's shift our focus to Iran. The Iranian Revolution in 1979 was a shockwave that reverberated around the world. The US lost a crucial ally when the Shah was overthrown, and an Islamic Republic was established. The USSR saw an opportunity in the chaos, but was met with a cold shoulder from the new regime, which sought to remain non-aligned. Lastly, we turn to the Afghan War. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 was a direct challenge to the US. The US responded by providing support to the Afghan Mujahideen, indirectly leading to a decade-long war that drained the Soviet Union and contributed to its eventual collapse. Each of these events was a piece in the larger puzzle of the Cold War. The US and the USSR, each pursuing their own interests, left a lasting impact on the Middle East. The political landscape was forever altered, alliances shifted, and new conflicts arose from the ashes of the old. The Cold War era, with its superpower rivalries, reshaped the Middle East. The fall of the Berlin Wall didn't mean the end of conflicts in the Middle East. On the contrary, the region entered a new phase, marked by shifting alliances, fresh conflicts, and the rise of new ideologies. Let's touch upon the Gulf Wars. The first Gulf War, or the Iraq-Kuwait conflict, erupted in the early 90s. Iraq's invasion of Kuwait, under the pretext of historical claims and economic disputes, led to a broad international response, resulting in a coalition led by the US to expel Iraq. This war set the stage for a decade of sanctions against Iraq, leading to the Second Gulf War in 2003. The US-led invasion aimed at the alleged possession of weapons of mass destruction by Iraq. These wars not only reshaped the geopolitical landscape but also sparked new tensions and rivalries. Parallel to these wars, the rise of Islamic fundamentalism started to take root. The power vacuum and the socio-economic instability resulting from these wars provided fertile ground for extremist ideologies to flourish. Groups like Al-Qaeda and later the Islamic State leveraged these conditions, posing significant threats to regional and global security. Meanwhile, the Israel-Palestine peace process went through its own set of challenges. The Oslo Accords in the mid-90s marked a promising start, but the road to peace remained rocky. The peace process was marred by mutual distrust, sporadic violence, and contentious issues like Israeli settlements and the status of Jerusalem. In essence, the post-Cold War Middle East was not a period of calm and stability. It was a time of transformation, where old conflicts evolved, new conflicts emerged, and ideologies shifted. These changes have left lasting impacts that continue to shape the region's geopolitical landscape. Post-Cold War Middle East presents a new set of challenges and dynamics. As we navigate these complexities, understanding the past becomes an essential tool in appreciating the present and anticipating the future. The winds of change swept across the Middle East in the form of the Arab Spring. In late 2010, a wave of protests, uprisings, and rebellions erupted across the Arab world. This phenomenon, known as the Arab Spring, was fueled by deep-seated grievances against authoritarian regimes, corruption, economic hardships, and a yearning for freedom and democracy. But what sparked this wildfire? The answer lies in the self-immolation of a Tunisian street vendor, Mohamed Bouazizi. His tragic act of defiance ignited a flame that quickly spread across borders, engulfing the region in a tide of change. Now let's delve into some key events of the Arab Spring. In Tunisia, the Jasmine Revolution led to the ousting of President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali, marking the first victory of the Arab Spring. Egypt followed suit with the fall of President Hosni Mubarak, and soon the dominoes began to fall in Libya, Yemen, and beyond. However, it's worth noting that the outcomes of these revolutions varied greatly. Some countries like Tunisia saw the birth of a fledgling democracy, while others like Libya descended into chaos and civil war. Still, others like Bahrain and Syria faced brutal crackdowns, their cries for change silenced in the face of power. And let's not forget the role of social media in all of this. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter became tools for mobilization, allowing protesters to organize, share information, and voice their dissent on a scale never seen before. They played a key role in amplifying the voices of the people, making the world sit up and take notice. As we reflect on the Arab Spring, it's clear that it was not a simple story of triumph or defeat. It was a complex tapestry of hope and despair, of revolution and resistance, of change and continuity. It's a story that's still being written, as the region grapples with the fallout of these momentous events. The Arab Spring, a beacon of hope, left a mixed legacy in its wake. Today's Middle East is a chessboard of power dynamics. This vibrant region is a mosaic of nations, each wielding their influence in a complex and ever-changing geopolitical landscape. Let's begin with Iran, a nation that has remained a significant player despite international sanctions. Its influence extends beyond its borders, through its alliances with Syria, Iraq, and the Hezbollah movement in Lebanon. Iran's pursuit of nuclear capabilities has also drawn international attention and concern. Moving west, we find Saudi Arabia, the heavyweight of the Arabian Peninsula. As the world's leading oil exporter, Saudi Arabia's economic influence is undeniable. But it's not all about oil. The nation is also a significant actor in the Sunni world, countering Iran's Shia influence. Israel, a small yet potent player, is another key piece of the puzzle. Despite its size, Israel has a significant military and technological prowess. It has managed to maintain a strong alliance with the United States, which has been instrumental in shaping the region's geopolitics. Turkey, straddling Europe and Asia, plays a unique role. With its strong military and growing economy, Turkey has been flexing its muscles, not just domestically, but also internationally. Its involvement in Syria and its strained relations with the European Union are indicative of its desire to leave a lasting footprint on the region. Let's not forget the ongoing conflicts that continue to shape the region's geopolitics. The wars in Syria, Yemen, and Iraq have not only caused immense human suffering, but have also created power vacuums, leading to the rise of non-state actors such as ISIS. These conflicts have drawn international intervention, further complicating the geopolitical landscape. This is a mere glimpse into the intricate web of Middle East geopolitics. Each nation, each conflict is a piece of a larger puzzle. Their interactions, alliances, and rivalries all contribute to a dynamic geopolitical landscape that has far-reaching implications. The Middle East continues to be a pivotal region in global geopolitics. Its complexities and challenges serve as a reminder of the delicate balance of power that exists in our world today. The complex tapestry of Middle East geopolitics is a product of its rich and turbulent history. Over the course of this video, we've traced the intricate paths that have led to the current geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. We've journeyed from the birth of the modern Middle East, where the region's borders were drawn without much regard for ethnic or religious divisions, creating a seedbed for future conflicts. We've navigated the tumultuous waters of the Cold War era, where the Middle East became a chessboard for superpowers, each maneuvering to protect their interests. This period was marked by a series of wars and revolutions, with each event leaving an indelible mark on the region. In the post-Cold War era, we saw how the balance of power shifted and new alliances were formed. The region was no longer a mere pawn in the game of global politics, but a player in its own right. We delved into the Arab Spring and its aftermath, a wave of protests and uprisings that promised change, but often resulted in further instability. Yet, in this seemingly chaotic period, seeds of hope were also sown. And finally, we've talked about the current state of Middle East geopolitics, a complex web of alliances and rivalries undergirded by a contest for resources and influence. Here, the past and the present intertwine, shaping the course of the future. Each chapter of this history has woven a thread into the fabric of Middle East geopolitics. They've created a region where the past is never truly past, where ancient grievances and historical alliances continue to influence the present. The Middle East is a region where the stakes are high and the political landscape is constantly evolving. It is a region where the echoes of history reverberate in the halls of power, shaping the decisions of today and the trajectory of tomorrow. Understanding the Middle East's past is key to deciphering its present and envisioning its future.